Alright, these are the tools you're going to need to change an alternator, 1998 Land Rover. 15mm box end wrench, 13mm socket, 10mm socket. You need two sockets or two wrenches, one 13mm, one 10mm, but I just do it two wrenches. You don't need a cell phone, but I got that anyways. A bar, you don't need anything this long. You could use something like a screwdriver, hefty screwdriver. And then the alternator. You can tell I just picked this up, nice and brand new. So, there you go. Alright, I was hoping to take my kids to go see a dam today, but alternator died on the Land Rover, so instead you guys are going to get a video on replacing an alternator on a 1998 Land Rover Discovery I. First thing you're going to do is you're going to undo these clips. One, two clips. Take this off to the side. Now you've got, this is the fan, cooling fan, clutch, water pump, power steering, alternator. This is what we're going to replace, and this is the idler arm. Alright, next you're going to push down on the wrench, and you're going to pull it to the right. That's going to allow you to take off that belt. Don't take this belt off all the way unless you absolutely have to. Also, you have to know the routing, and you have to look that up. I've got it drawn somewhere. Alright. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is disconnect the battery. Battery's on the right hand side of the vehicle. And the way you figure that is when you sit inside your car, right hand side of the car as you're sitting in, it's the right hand side of the car. There you go. Take that off, put it somewhere. You always take off the ground, not the hot. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is going to take my 13mm socket. And you're going to put it right here. Top one's 13mm. Save all your washers and your ends. Okay. Now, the one in the middle, or this one, you're going to use your 10mm socket. Neighbors think I'm crazy because that's it. Do this wire. That's your tachometer wire. Go. Okay. 10 to 13. Just dawned on me, I don't even know if this bolt is in that frame. Then underneath, it's going to be the same thing. 10, 13, except where it's underneath. It's nice and hot. And whenever possible, always try to turn the nut end. Pull this out. There you go. If it does take prying, it takes very little prying. That's it. Now that the alternator is out, you can hear it does not sound very good. So, but I bought this one from AutoZone, and I got a lifetime warranty on it. So I'm going to take it back to the one and then be back, and you guys get to see me install an alternator. I'm back from AutoZone. Spend more time there standing in line than I'm going to spend taking this out and installing it. But like lifetime warranty. Alright. That nice and powder coated. Alright. Thought I put my dang gloves back on. That. There you go. And that concludes pretty much the hardest part of this, is putting the alternator back on lined up. Get everything started with your hand if you can. And 10 millimeter. Put it down hand tight. I just go a little bit like that. Maybe like 1/8 of a turn or something like that. So you don't want to break it. Now let me kick the big wire. It's the main alternator wire. Alright, what I'm going to do is start from the top. Here and make sure it's tight. Now you're going to take your 15 millimeter box end, put it over the idler pulley, push the idler pulley down again, reroute, belt, go. Make sure everything's in order. And put the cover back on so I don't have to risk sticking my finger inside where the fan blade is. Again, 2 clips. Should go in there. Reattach battery. Alright, sure, get all your tools out of the bay. Now, if you noticed, it was idling high. That's because I changed out the idler air controller. And I didn't realize it at the time, but when you do it with this vehicle, you have to get the fuel trims reset to factory standards. For some reason, I don't understand why, but you do. So, it's idling at a high RPM. This week, I'm going to take it to a shop and get them to reset that and make sure that that falls back into place. And that might have started because the alternator was going out. So, yeah, here we go. I think it's an alternator. really doesn't take long as you got the parts. It's mostly waiting at AutoZone or wherever your parts store you can go. Because I don't drive my Land Rover very often, I keep it on a charger. It's just a few miles, it's just too horrendous to drive on a daily basis.